Hello and welcome to another video on the Life After Brady channel. Today we're going to take a look at Cam Newton's rushing numbers by year throughout his career going back to 2011 when he joined the league. I will coach all of this by saying we'll see with 2020. He's obviously been injury ridden the last couple of years. A lot of that was shoulder related, but he did miss all but 2 games in 2019 with a foot injury. So we'll see as he hits the other side of 30 how active a runner he is, but let's take a look back at what he did for the first decade of his career. Cam Newton came into the league in 2011 as the number 1 overall pick to the Carolina Panthers at the age of 22 after winning a national championship with the Auburn Tigers. He came in and rushed immediately for 8 attempts a game, so just trying to get a feel here of how often were the Panthers giving him the football to run with it. Early on, his first 2 years, it was 8 attempts per season, kind of ticked down. That age 26 season is his 2015 MVP season when the Panthers went to the Super Bowl. And then that's kind of where the injuries pick up, 2016, 2017, 2018. I do not have 2019 on here because it only was 2 games and he was clearly very injured. But dropped off somewhat significantly and then picked up back in 2017, his age 28 season. I'll coach all of this again by saying that injuries towards the end, so we'll see how this turns at the age of 30. I'll also bring in Michael Vick. So Michael Vick rushed for his then NFL record 1,039 regular season yards in 2006. So this is not the 2020 NFL where Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, mainly Lamar Jackson, are tearing it up rushing the football. This was still a foreign concept at this point, but there was Michael Vick had already rushed for his 1,000 yards in a season when Cam Newton took over. We're going to look at the same chart, now adding a little bit of a difference to it with looking at how many of those attempts result in first down by percentage. So you can see here that early on in his career, he's rushing for nearly 40% of his runs are for first downs. To start his career, 42%, 41%, 41%, and then jumps up to 47% in year 4, 2014. Before kind of dropping off, 45% his MVP season. And then the 3 years prior to last year, 31%, 33%, 36%. Tough to tell exactly what the reason is. Are they putting him in more opportune situations of, not running him where they don't need to run him? Is he maybe not fighting for that extra, yard or two, trying to play it safer with his body as he gets into his late 20s? That could be some of it. I imagine this number will uptick with the Patriots because I do not see them just running him for the sake of running him in 2020. I think they're going to want to be opportune with those situations. Sony Michel's not gotten a ton of those key carries near the goal line or first downs, not as many as you'd expect, so I think Newton will take some of those as he has a bigger body than Sony Michel. Now we're going to take a look at his rushing attempts by season compared to his rushing yards by season, going from his rookie year all the way through last year where he was clearly injured, only played 2 games. For the first part of his career, first 5 or 6 seasons, always over 550 yards and always over 100 carries. The 100 carries is tough to picture. That was 8 attempts a game basically throughout most of his 20s. I struggle to picture that. I think that goes down to 5 or 6 carries a game, which 6 carries a game over 16 games would give you 96 carries. I think probably he's in that 90 carry range, and then at the most I'd say 500, 488 his 29-year-old season back in 2018. I think that's the top of what you're looking at. It's probably more like 400 to 500 yards would be my guess, 4 yards a carry. I just don't picture him with the same breakaway speed and the same ability of getting out on the edge that he had early on as he gets into his 30s. I just don't see that happening, especially with the NFL defense is going smaller and smaller. Earlier on, these guys were, big middle linebackers, big defensive ends. These guys are all now, nickel backs and such. It's still, they don't enjoy tackling Cam, but the ability to track him down at least, try and gang up, get him out on the edge, get him out of bounds. So I don't see him going for much. 500 yards and 90 carries is probably what I see as a maximum there for Cam. We're going to wrap up by comparing Cam's career numbers to 2 rushing phenoms, really, right now. Lamar Jackson, obviously, the top bar. And then Josh Allen, quietly, still very good, 8 and 9 rushing touchdowns the last couple of years, over 500 yards both of those years, over 40 first downs from his attempts. So a very good rusher. Now the other thing is these guys are both young, as you can see in that third column by age. Lamar's last year was his age 22 season, and Josh Allen's his first 2 years in the league have been his age 22 and 23 season. So much younger, much less beating on their bodies compared to what Cam has as he goes into his age 31 season. But I still think it's good to see the bar of where rushing is in the league right now, because obviously it has evolved a lot from where it was 2011, 2012 time frame. That fourth to last row on the bottom is Cam Newton's averages from the last 3 seasons, so 2016, 2017, 2018. So I threw out his 2015 season, his MVP season, and I threw out his 2019 season where he only played in 2 games and was clearly hurt. So you get an idea there. He played in 15 games, had 5 rushing touchdowns per season. I think that's still likely. I see that happening. And then he averaged 7 attempts per game. That one I'm struggling with. That I think is going to tick down. Lamar averaged nearly 12 last year. Josh Allen was 7.5 his first year, and then just under 7 his second year. I think that goes down to 5 or 6, as I said, for Cam. No reason to keep beating his body like that. And then yardage-wise, I think he's a step below Josh Allen. He rushed for 510 last year. I think that goes down again below that 488 that he did in 2018. And then first down-wise, probably that 30 to 40 range. And attempts, we'll see. He's not going to be anywhere near Lamar Jackson's 176. That just gives you perspective to me of how ridiculous Lamar's year was last year. Cam was the premier rushing quarterback of the 2010s, and the most rushes he had was 139 back in 2017. And Lamar did nearly 40 more than that, or over 40 more than that. Excuse me. So pretty impressive there from Cam, and that's what you can expect to me from Cam in 2020 based on the numbers.